Okay, well, hi everyone, and thank you very much for watching or listening. Liam Hartree back with you again today with another episode of Presented Champions. And today is our second episode with Andy Walsh, one of the toughest men in the UK. This man has had over 100 fights in just about everything, bare knuckle boxing, boxing, everything you can think of. He's done three tours of Afghanistan, he's worked in close protection, been in jail several times, survived suicide attempts, come back from the brink more times than I can count. Now, a lot of people will know this is a second interview with Andy. So the first time we spoke about everything military based, his tours in Afghanistan, PTSD, recovery. So that's been covered. If you want to know about that, watch the first one. Today, we're going to be talking about some different topics. We're going to be getting into the fights a lot more, as I've already said, close protection, mental health, some of these other topics, some real inspiration. Andy is one tough individual I've got massive respect for, heart of gold as well. So, mate, thank you for coming back on here, and it's great to have you back with us today. To be fair, thank you.
Nice to be back, mate. Nice to see your face.
Yeah, you too, you too. And I got to mention as well for our viewers, since we last spoke, which was probably 8, 9 months ago, and obviously I've moved to Cyprus since then, everything's happened. You've had, what were you saying, 17 fights since we last spoke. So I think that shows how busy you are. Absolutely crazy. Fair play to you, mate. Fair play.
Yeah, it's been around about that. I mean, I was taking them every week. I don't. I cannot say no. It's just one of them things. I cannot say no. And I've never ever not showed up for a fight in all my fights and all that. And just if you want us to fight for you, just ask us. It's going to be a yes.
Absolutely, absolutely. And do you know how many you've had all in all? Do you count them, or have you lost track by
I've
now?
I've lost track, but I'm roughly saying around 114.
Okay.
This is what I've tried to work out. I've tried to work out, but there could be a few missing. There could be a few missing. Bound to be a few missing.
Absolutely. And obviously, at the time of this interview, now you've not long come off a fight with Robbie Adamson, who's obviously a legend in the bare knuckle game. Talk to us about that one, just to kick things off, mate. Let's talk about that.
Yeah. So for Rock Solid Promotions, it was 2 nights ago on Saturday, up in Bradford, Cedar Hotel. Rock Solid Promotions for an absolute wicked show on. So Robbie does. He's been around just like me, and they've started bringing the hybrid pit. So the hybrid pit, that the setup it in an octagon, and then they had a big break, 20-minute break, and then they put this basically a small octagon, probably just above waist height or something, or even right shoulder high or something. And you get in there, and I think it's 8 foot by 8 foot, just like hay bale type of size. And you just go for glory, swing for the hills, and it was fantastic, man. It was what a fight it was. But I've got a lot of respect for him anyway, because obviously I've set my own promotion up. And last week, not Saturday gone, Saturday before, they came down and I had them as judges. Robbie, Ashmia, and Crystal, Robbie's wife. And anything I needed, like Crystal stepped in for the ring girls because the ring girls didn't show, and Ash was getting all the fighters ready, making sure they're on time. They've done an absolutely wicked job for me. Robbie made a promo video like he does for that Yes crew. I'll give him a shout out for that. And yeah, and then next week I was fighting him, but I'm going for it. It was for the bad motherfucker belt, which is a big honor. I mean, I said to myself, I'm going in there, and I'm because this is me last year fighting. I'm going in there, I'm giving it all. He knocked us down about 5 times. I kept on getting back up, getting back up. The crowd was going fucking sick. Got fight of the night. It was absolutely an honor to get in there and have a fight with him. Because obviously I'd watched him in the past. I'd watched him in just doing stand up, bare knuckle in what you call it's like in fields and that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I want to say at this point, big shout out to Robbie Adamson, Crystal, all the team. I mean, they're doing great things with Rock Solid, and Robbie's been on this show before as well. Absolute tough as they come. That man, what he's accomplished with Spartan and everything that he was doing there. Has he
Yeah.
retired from bare knuckle now? Then I saw a post saying it was.
His last fight was with me, bare knuckle.
Yeah.
He's going to concentrate on his promotion and all that, and rightly to do so because they've done a fantastic job.
Absolutely, absolutely. And obviously, you yourself now are talking about a couple of other highlights just since we last spoke. Now, you've also had BKFC. You've also had some big things happen. So let's talk about that one a little bit because that's as well, that's as big as it gets, really, isn't it? So let's talk
Yeah,
about.
as big as it gets. That yeah. I mean, they had the tryouts in the first tryouts over in the UK, and it was in Liverpool, and yeah, I went to that. I mean, I was meant to be fighting Robbie Brown anyway before this, on the main card in Newcastle on I think it was BKFC 46 or 47 something. Um, I was meant to be fighting Robbie Brown in that, but I got cut in a fight, and then I didn't end up fighting him. So I went to the tryouts, done all the tryouts, which was fantastic, good experience again. I've done all the experiences, but I've done it all the experiences and everything for every company. But that was fantastic. That smashed with a fitness test. Um, and then they took on the pads while the others were doing bag work, and they just walked around, had them on people monitoring and all that, coaching, and then you had to spar. So the sparring was with 4 other people. So you done 4 spars, just 1 round each. Um, yeah, and I done 4 spars, and then got through to the event, which was in Liverpool, at the Olympia Stadium or something. And it was a theatre, and what a setup and what an experience. That squared circle is something different. It gives you something else to fight for. I don't know what it was. Um, I trained for it. I trained. I trained. I trained hard for it. And went in there. I mean, even just the setup and everything was fantastic. So I went in there and I destroyed my opponent in 33 seconds. So that was first fight on in the night.
Absolutely amazing. It's yeah, incredible achievement, mate. I mean, even I know you've been so busy as a fighter all the way through. I got massive respect for that. But even like I say, in the time since we last spoke, it's mad how busy you've been. So talking about a couple of other things, yeah, you said there about the squared circle and all this side of things, bringing out the best. But you've done it all. I mean, you've been in the pit, you've been in the ring, you've been in it. Do you have like a favorite type of arena to fight in, or does it not make? I know you'll take any fight, but do you have like a preference on like the setup of the ring or the cage or the pit, or does it just not matter to you at all with that type of thing?
It doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter to me because I've went through a stage in my fighting career where I've trained, I haven't trained. Uh, I just take what's in front of us. I don't look into my opponents. I don't do all that stuff. So I go into every fight not to. I go into every fight and go into the unknown every time. I think it's better to be like that. But me personally, but yeah, that squared circle was. I think because deep down you know, like, God, if I win this, man, something could be happening here, and like, you know what I mean. It was just that's what it was. But actually, I did actually go into that fight thinking I was going to lose because I thought my game was over, thought my time's up. But actually, that gave us a kickstart, kickstart back from in the past. I mean, when we spoke before, I mean, I had a bit of a bad run and all that, and because I was taking drugs, whatever, and all that. The previous year we spoke and things like that of going through what I was going through, but that gave us the boost again, and I've been smashing it.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely amazing. You've been on the up, and I'm happy for you, mate. I mean, it's simple as that. I'm really happy for you that you're enjoying that success, because you've put so much into the fight game for so many years. I know you love it, but like I say, some of those big stages and that just and on that is good to see.
Yeah.
So yeah, 33 seconds. Was that your fastest finish of your career, or have you had any that like where you've knocked guys out faster than that?
Faster. I've done faster than that. I've done 20 seconds on the Olympus one. Olympus one, I knocked him out 20 seconds. Andy was 3.5 stone heavy on us. And that was pulled last minute. I got asked on that morning and went on it.
Yeah, yeah. I thought I'd seen one or two that was faster, but I was trying to remember. Yeah, Olympus, they go
Yeah.
from strength to strength as well. So I'm going to shout out to the team there as well. Um, go on, mate. You had something you were going to
Yeah.
say?
Olympus, I'm smashing it, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I love being part of that. That's a big part of my life, that, man. and they're a big part to play in where I've gone these days. I take them everywhere with us. I take that name everywhere, Olympus.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, as you've probably seen, mate, I've had Ben Waddington here on the show. I've had Sam Blakesley here on the show, everything like that. And they're just, yeah, they're getting bigger and bigger all the time. So talk to us a little bit about your involvement with them, because a lot of people will know this, but for anyone who doesn't know about it, obviously you're very into things with them. So let's hear a bit about that, please, mate. That'd be great.
So I didn't know these guys, even though I lived in Rotherham. I didn't know these guys until Olympus won. So the referee at the time, he rang us up and says, "Do you know anyone 14 stone and all that?" So I just says, "How much is off on?" I says, like, whatever, 100 quid. I says, "I'll do it." And I went and done it. And then after that, I got in touch with Sam, was getting in touch with us, and I just give them a bit of advice. I didn't know what the experience was or out like that. I've heard of Ben and all that, but I didn't know the experience. I says, "Listen, why don't you do this? Why don't you change a bit of this, do this, and change a bit of that?" And I've helped them all the way through. Sam's been my best mate ever since then, and now we took it indoors. I've just been there just to give a little bit of advice and that of my experience. And Sam's a great bloke, and he listens, and he's listened and everything. And yeah, it's just went from strength to strength. And what I referee for them now, and I run the gym for them and train their fighters. I train all the fighters and that. I'm sat outside the gym now. We're just busy doing the new one up. It should be done by next week. So get all the lads back in and all that before. I know there's Olympus on the 24th of this month, but all my fighters become maxi promotion fighters because I've opened my own boxing promotion. So in Rotherham now, we've got bare knuckle side is Olympus, boxing sides maxi promotions, which is me. But everyone will be fighting at this gym.
Well, yeah. I've been wanting to talk to you about setting up your own show, by the way, because I mean we haven't even got into that yet. But obviously, I've been watching on Facebook and everything that's you've been doing. So talk to us about that, because one of the things I think is great about you setting up your own promotion is obviously it from the fighter's side, if you get what I mean. Obviously, a lot of promoters they don't, they haven't been in there, and it's no disrespect to anyone, but it's a different thing when you've been in there yourself so much. So what is it like setting up events? Because I mean it's a lot of stress, but it's also very rewarding as well, I'd imagine.
So since from a young age, since I started fighting, so I could nearly say say not so much now, but at one time I probably boxed for nearly every promotion around in England anyway. And all these shows, I knew at one day I'd love to do this, set up my own and do my own show, whether it was just one. So I took all on board and took on all the good things from the promotions, took on the bad things from the promotions, and I put it all into last week's first maxi promotion show. And I've had fighters on there like the Luke Dyson and all that's been around fighting the week in, week out, 80 odd fights. Hayden Sheriff from Manchester, they were on it. Feedback from them was one of the best shows I've ever been on. I'm happy with that. But that's what I set out to do.
Yeah. And what are your plans with that from here then, going forward into the future and everything?
I've got 6 shows booked in this year. So my next one is March 16th.
Yeah.
I'm going all the way. That's my job now, full-time job now, that for me. And fight.
Yeah, I'm fighting, of course. But no, it's absolutely amazing, mate. I've got massive respect for that, because obviously the opportunities you're giving to fighters and everything. And like we were saying just there, the fact that you can guide them and sort of get involved. Do you know what I mean? Because like you were saying there, you've learned the things to do, the things not to do and everything. And passing that on to people, I think is a very valuable thing, because, there's a lot of sharks out there in the fight game. So you can make sure things are done the right way, which I think it's not a question. I'm just saying, I think that's amazing. So yeah, that's the side of things with your promotion. Now, looking back at some of the fights of yours, because there's a lot here. Who are some of the toughest guys that you faced out of 114 or maybe more? It's a big question, and it's probably a very long list. But if we had to pick out like a handful, 3, 4, 5 guys that really stand out, who would some of those names be, mate?
Gareth Van Hoof. from Shrewsbury. Ended up really good pals with him. That was on Bad to the Bone. That was the fight we were talking about last time for the English title.
Yeah.
Yeah. Baz from Bad to the Bone. Baz, that's who I fought before I went to Ukraine. I fought him. That was after our BKFC. Baz Stokes, another tough kid, and who else, man? I had a really good unlicensed boxing fight. Well, I've had loads, but Brendan Jackson from Barnsley, absolutely loved that fight. Tough lads, and Robbie Adamson. Yeah. In the amateur game, I couldn't really saying that there. Yeah. In the amateur game, can't really remember. I mean, but most of mine went all the way. So yeah, there was a lot of tough fights. Every amateur fight's tough. You're fit. It's constant. So can't really say for that, but unlicensed, and there was a lad from Sunderland that I unlicensed fight with. I think it was like my fourth one. That was a good fight as well. But I took them all the way, and yeah, I think I won that lad in Sunderland, but then came short on all the rest of them. But that don't bother me, mate.
No. And that's another good thing that you brought up there as well as happened since, because obviously the Ukraine thing, as you may have seen, I was talking to Sam about this recently and everything. But yeah, I mean, going over there, absolutely. First things first, how did that actually come about, going to Ukraine of all places?
Well, so Ash Mia from Rock Solid Promotions, I'd seen him put on. He was looking for a 70 kg guy and all that, and this was weeks before it. So, but I wasn't. I was a bit low back then, so I never bothered saying out. But then when I seen Matt down at Bad to the Bone, he was like, "Oh, I've got big things happening and all that." I said, "Well, give me a shout." I said, "I'll do out." And then he put it on one night. He didn't say where it was going or anything like that, but I just messaged him. I says, "I'm 70 now." He was like, "Yes, Andy." He was like, he must have been speaking. He says, "I'm speaking to loads of guys." He says, "But you're the one." So I got asked. That was at 9:30 on Saturday night. I got asked. I says, "Yeah." It was to go by myself at first, and then I just messaged him. I says, "I'm gonna take the cornerman." Like, he was like, "Yeah, you can take a cornerman." So I messaged Sam Blakesy 9:30 at night. He sparked one of the set. He's like, I says, "Are you coming to Ukraine tomorrow?" He was like, "What the fuck are about?" I'm like, "Are you coming or what?" So he said, "Yeah." I had no doubt he wouldn't say no anyway. So Sunday morning, after 10, we're travelling to Manchester Airport to go to Poland. It was fantastic. What a journey. We made it a journey though. We made it fun for us and fun for everyone back home. We weren't trying to like over exaggerate things, what was happening and all that. I mean, like when we got into Poland, getting pulled off the coppers and all that within the hour. And again, well, twice we got pulled. We just must have looked dodgy. But it was fantastic, man. And people followed the journey, and that was amazing. We still need to make like a video out of everything we've got, but it will happen. But I've been called out to go back next month.
Have you? You're going back over there?
Yeah,
Wow.
I've been called out of a fight over there, so keep that coming.
Yeah, yeah. And what was it like in Ukraine? Like, obviously, with the war going on and all this, and I know people from there, you hear the stories and everything, but in terms of like actually being there, I mean, Sam described a lot of this to me with that crazy atmosphere they made in the fights, but in terms of the country and everything, what was it like for you guys?
Well, the country, like I was, I was expecting, to be like shimmied away from a lot of places and all that, but because we were in Kiev, we were bang centre capital. Um, it wasn't a nice place to be, but and the people weren't really that side of the world. They don't really interact and have a sense of humour type of thing. It's no disrespect to any of them. It's just from English to them, we're totally different people. So it was hard to interact with the lads in the gym. It was good because we were there doing what they were doing. But trying to like even it was a weird place. I mean, we drove past some places It was can't remember what it was now. I think just say a big like a big company's name. To say Sky, for example, it was a Sky, big massive Sky building, but it had been hit with something. But that was half an hour from where we were staying, and then we had alarms going off in hotels, in motel, and all that. That was mental. It was funny. We were just like, but Sam's Mrs. Lauren, she was on the internet every day looking to see what the crack was and everything, and she was speeding with information. Like, so the alarm that went off, it was 4 hours away from her, but it was still in the capital. So it shows you how big the country is. And what happened was the Russians had sent 20 drones in, and 16 got shot down, but 4 got through. So obviously they've done the sirens and everything. Just made it more exciting for me, to be fair. Even though I've been to war, man, and I've been to war, and I know people would have been getting hurt, but when you've been to war and you're an ex-soldier and whatever, you get a buzz for things like that, man. It's crazy. So I wasn't hoping something could happen, but deep down I was.
Yeah. No, I get what you mean. I do get what you mean. And how did your fight go personally over there for anyone who doesn't know the story of that one?
Well, it went, I thought it went good. Like, so I got the furthest out of all where that went. I got the furthest. Me and Robbie got through in the second round, and then yeah, we got put away in the second round. But I got furthest through it. I popped my shoulder out. I got cut twice. I took some right shots, give him some right shots. I was on top at one point. Snapped my nose. They're tough, man. They are hard people. All ripped to bits. Come up. They probably all just come off the front line, man, getting the aggression out, whatever. But they're all trained, like. And do you know what it is? That they're all so nice and so nice still. Like, all my likes and everything on Instagram is just all Ukrainian lads. It's mad. So, but it was good, man. He was a tough lad. They were all tough. But I never trained. I jumped off the city. Never trained for a good few months. But I think I would have beaten him if I was a bit more conditioned, because to do with the clinch and all that, he had us up against the sandbags and that, and just took it out of us. And I had a good left hook I caught him with, and it done my shoulder in. And then second round, he picked us, like, had his arms in the air like that, and he like picked us up, and I just felt it go, my shoulder. And I couldn't even lift my arm like for a good 2 weeks or something afterwards, but it was what it was. There's no losses in that game to me.
Well, here's another thing. You were saying about like being, going to war and all this type of thing. And I know we spoke about that a lot in the last one, so I don't want to get into that with Afghanistan. But just from the mindset point of view, do you think there's a connection between the fact that you've been out there to Afghanistan, all these crazy things, and you faced death, you faced like most people's worst fears and all this type of thing. So do you think that then that makes going into a fight like less, if you get what I mean? Like it takes some of the mental side of it out of it, like you say about jumping into the unknown, and you're just like you don't care? Or do you think that's something you would have had anyway if you didn't go into the army, if you get where I'm coming at with like the mental side of fighting?
I had it anyway. From being a kid and fighting on the streets. I had it anyway. There was no. I didn't give a. When I was a youngin', I didn't care how big they were, how who they were, what name they think they had, how gangster they thought they were. If you want to cause trouble where I'm from, then you come and cause it with me. I didn't really care, and my old pals and that I went to school with will tell you the same. I was game as they come. You wouldn't have got no gamer than me, no matter how big the lad was. So I'd always had that fight in us anyway.
Yeah, I always had it in. Yeah, I thought so. I was just curious. And actually, that's another good thing because obviously it's like 114 fights you've had or whatever in terms of professional ones, amateur ones, or maybe a few more. But you can probably add a few on top of that with the street as well, isn't it? You can add a few sort of like
Oh, just a few, just a few. um, yeah, quite a, quite a few.
any stories you can share about that without getting yourself in any trouble. If any, any maybe one or two stories from like a street fight you've had or something crazy.
Yeah, so it was. You've heard of South Shields, haven't you? South Shields.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So that's where I used to go drinking and all that as a young'un. And me and my mate, Chris Gray, me and my mate were down in a nightclub down there, Woke it was called. And I'd had a bit of beef with these lads the weekend before. Because one was a boxer and all that. I mentioned no names now, but so I could see them all over at the bar, and we were stood like around this dance floor. And they were staring at us and all that, and I thought, oh, they're gonna come. But what they done was they waited until a few of my mates had done like dispersed from it, and then there was only a couple left. So I didn't even see them. They were coming around the sides, coming around that side of the dance floor, and that, and then I remember seeing it. It was a bottle. A bottle just got through, and it just landed. Boom! I've got a scar there. So it hit us square in the head. And then all of a sudden, it just jumped on me. But me, mate that was left, were dressed up. But it was mad. So I dressed up like I think I was Captain America and he was Mr. Banana Man or something. And but we were the gamest ones out of everyone anyway. They give her it like, but we'll give them it back, and it ended up outside. It was crazy, but it went on for ages and ages with these kids. Yeah, and they even came to where we used to hang about, and we used to hang around back of these shops and come round there and chase me and cornered me into a corner and all that. And yeah. But I was there. I was tiny, me man. But they knew they were up for a scrap if they come for us anyway. But yeah, I mean, yeah, there's been loads of fights. I mean, when I was young and my mum took us to a fight once, man. Those lads wanted to fight us, and I remember I was grounded. So my mum asked me older brother. She says, "Why is he so eager to get out?" Yeah, she says, "Ah, such and such wants to have him a scrap." So my mum says, come down, yeah." So jumped down. She says, "Right, get in the car." My older brother, he's only 2 years older than me, so I think I was in my last year of school or something, or maybe something like that. And so I jumped in the car. My brother jumped in the boot, and she took me down to these shops. But previously, these lads from this shop that hung around these shops, Finkel Road, they'd done my brother over with planks of wood and all that, and all these lads was involved. So this is probably why my mum took me down. So we jumped out at the shops and all that. I've jumped out. I've hit this kid. Started scrapping with him. My brother started bringing all the others around me, and the woman comes out from the shop. The old woman comes out from the shop saying, "What are you doing? You're on my mum saying, get the fuck back in the shop, you." But yeah, it was just all. It was a lot of jealousy why people used to want to have a fight with me. Through women, believe it or not. So yeah, I was all over women all the time. uh, yeah, not my fault. I was born like this, is it?
Oh, well, yeah, jealousy. I mean, that's always a big one, mate. That's
Well,
always
it was, honestly, it was never the case of like what I've done to someone, because I never done anything wrong. I still don't do wrong to people unless they deserve it. But it was all just for stupid daft shit. Not anything that I'd done wrong to them. But I loved it. It's made us probably made. I tell you, it's made us the man I am today. But the worst fights I've had is with me older brother. Fucking hell, we've had some scraps together, but we've had some scraps where I've been started on in pubs, and he's come and annihilated people, you know what I mean? And vice versa. But we're best mates, and we're not best mates now, so that's irrelevant.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's good to get a few of those stories in there, the things that people haven't seen with being in the ring. Now, shortly, I'm going to talk about a couple of other things with like the mental health and close protection and a few other things. Wrapping up a couple of other things on the fight stuff. You mentioned about like earlier about the square circle, and you mentioned about Ukraine and things like this. Are there other fights that you've had that have been in like weird places, or they've been in like a strange type of arena, or there's something a little bit different? So what I mean is, like with Rock Solid, what they're doing, where they're doing it a little bit different. Have you had other things like that where it's not been in the traditional ring and it's been something a bit odd or something a bit hybrid, if you get what I mean with this one?
I've not done out like that. You mean like no rules type and that, are you? You mean the things like that? No, I've had a range straighteners, range straighteners over the years, and went and yeah, I've had a few. There was a few. I've had a few where I used to live before where I live now. I've had a few straighteners there, but they never like that, because when they find out who you are or whatever, they'll always bring more than one. They'll try to run you over in a transit van, shit houses, or they'll all come when there's 3 vans full of people and I'm still standing there by myself and still standing there when they're all trying to come towards you. But all my fights like that never really go for, because they turn up and expect us to fucking run. I don't fucking run. They know that, and then they know that when they're getting close, they're getting fucked over anyway. So that's why it doesn't ever progress into a full on. But I've had a few one-on-one straighteners in fields, whatever, and met. Never through me again, for other people. But I've done a lot of arranging fights like that myself for other people. I've got this thing where, because obviously I've been in the game for so long, a lot of people get in touch with me to organise a straightener. So I'll go and just do fair play, man, or something. That happens quite a lot. I enjoy it. I enjoy that. But like, I think that's the best way to settle things. And it's settle things I've never known. The ones I have done, the ones I've met and took their place or whatever, then I don't think there's ever been any bother with them ever since. It's just get it done and dusted, innit?
Yeah, well, it's the best way to deal with it, mate. I mean, it's a lot better than all this stuff going on now with people getting stabbed and cut up and all this crap that's going on. I mean, just settle it the old-fashioned way and it's done and
Yeah.
it's finished. So I agree. I get where you're coming from there. And obviously we talked earlier about like the BKFC and all this type of thing, but I also wanted to talk about which other fights you're the most proud of, because I know we talked about the toughest people, but from a different point of view, like basically your favorite ones that are the most special to you for one reason or another when you look back on them now?
Yeah. So my first one would probably be my first ever unlicensed, which was on Martin Robinson's promotion. It was on an EBF show in Sunderland, Nissan Sports Arena, where the Nissan factory is. I was in the army at the time, and one of my mates from Sunderland, he was on them. He got us into that unlicensed game, and this promoter was his mate. There was a lad I thought called Danny Boy Dixon. He was from Sunderland as well, a lot big handers and all that. And I sold a lot of tickets, all my family come, everything. And it was just after my granddad passed. So I was proud of myself. I've got it on DVD and that now. I mean, that was 2012, that, that was my first unlicensed, 2012. That was something I was very proud of. I rocked the kid in the second round, rocked him, but went all the points and I won unanimously. That was brilliant. That's one thing I'll never forget. And I just remember how I was as well in the army. I was ripped to shreds. I was fucking, you know what I mean? I was in my prime in my life. I was ready to take heads clean off then. And I went on to do a couple more up in the northeast. My first bare knuckle fight was with Brad Harris in Newcastle, NE6 Street. I was in the army then. He put us away in the second round, but I didn't think I'd be like that when I started being up. I didn't think I could fight like that. I could fight in the street, but most of the time you're getting dragged off, or you know what I mean. So it doesn't go as far as that. But when you're in there one on one, bare knuckle, and you can fucking taste blood in your mouth, it gets you going. I didn't think I'd be able to fight like that. And then here, Bill, listen to this one, Doncaster. So I'd moved to Barnsley after I left the army, and I worked in Whitby. And there was this kid come up to us and says he was on about boxing to someone, and someone says, "You want to go and see him over there?" Pointed at me. So I went over and I said, "What's the crack?" He says, "I'm running a bare knuckle show this weekend in Doncaster." I says, "Right." I says, "Get us on it then." I says, "I'll do it." He says, "What do you weigh?" I says, 11 stone. She said, "I know, lad, 11 stone." So I went. I didn't tell anyone about it. And this is probably about 5 years ago now. So I didn't tell anybody about it. And I went to the pub, had a couple of pints beforehand. I thought, will I go or not? Will I go? And I thought, they were ringing and saying, "You're meant to be here now." I go, and I thought, fuck it. Fuck it. So I talked on the lads in the pub. I said, "I'm going to do this." And my missus at the time, she says, "What are you doing?" I said, "Just listen, just fucking let us do it, and I'll come back. I'll be back." So I went and drove there by myself. So I went in, I got my hands wrapped and everything. And it's had 1.4 million views on YouTube or something like this. It was in the hay bales as well, in the middle of a field in Doncaster. And there was people there, it was all full of travellers, everything, all standing on transit vans, everything. And I was the 8th fight on, so I just sat in the car. And at the time I was dabbling in a bit of coke and stuff like that. And I'd had some honours anyway, so I just sat in the car and I was just putting it up my nose like an idiot, and went in there and fucking absolutely fucking demolished the kid. But I went there by myself. Was it as I was walking down from the car to the bales? The traveller kid says, "Are you by yourself?" I says, "Yeah." So he says, "I'll do your corner." I said, "All right, sound." And then there's an older bloke. He says, "I'll put £1,000 on you, son." Another traveller kid. He says, "You put £1,000 on." I'd love to know what he fucking got at the end of it, but I never ever found out. So then when I jumped in there, it was like I knew what he was going to come and do, because you can't really box in there. But if you've got a bit of a boxing ability, you're going to be able to duck and dive, whatever. You know what I mean? Lean back. And I used the bales to my advantage, because he came in and he just swung for the hills, man. And he put us down on my ass twice. And then I put us down on my ass, and then I put him down twice, and then he put me down again. That was the first round over. And then second round, he come out exact same again, but he was fucked. So I just fucking paggered him. That was a proud moment, because still to this day, my mates in Barnsley and all that, they've got this fight on the phone, and it's only just come back up again on Facebook, and everyone's tagging us in it, saying, "Is this you?" and all that. And that's had any amount of views. On this one that's just come up, someone else has put it on. That was for BKF, that were called. And all my mates on the phone, they all talk about being up at work and all that. My mates that's got it on the phone and shit like that, they say, "Yeah, watch that fucker, that's my mate." But it's me.
That is crazy. That is, yeah. I mean, I've heard of the BKF. I've heard of that name
Yeah.
mentioned, thrown around. Yeah.
But
With
had two shows or something like that.
yeah. I know. I don't think there was a lot of shows, but I've heard the name mentioned from other fighters. Yeah. Have you ever fought on the Spartan shows and with those guys for like in the Bales?
No, I was meant to fight for Spartan. I was meant to fight for after that one. I was meant to fight for Spartan, and I got sent to prison. I was meant to fight for a belt, and ended up getting sent to prison. So the fight didn't go ahead. So which I was really gutted for. But yeah, I've not fought for Spartan, but I've done the same types of Bales and all that shit. Don't interest me now, them Spartan.
No. And obviously with that, with the jail side of things as well, I know that's another thing you've been in there a few times as well. And I remember you mentioned to me before it was something you wanted to sort of bring up and get into a little bit. So yeah, tell us the story of, is it 3 times you've been sent
Three,
down? Yeah.
3 times, not for people that are. If people ask me what you went to jail for or something like that, they'd think it would be violence or something like that. When it's not. It's not at all. It's for driving. So in 2016, I got caught. The next morning, actually, I got pulled over and got breathalyzed and blew over still. So I got banned then. Um, so and then I left the army and everything like that, and and then I was just buying cars to get the jobs to make money for myself and my family and to support me son and all that at the time. So my daughter wasn't here then. I was buying cars, not taxing them and out like that, and trying to get to London and all that, and getting to get the jobs. And I was just getting caught all the time in them. So yeah, I went to jail. Sentenced to jail after so many times of getting caught, and I got 6 months obviously due free. A year later, didn't learn my lesson, got caught again, sent straight back. But I was on the run for a year then. Second time, I knew what was going to happen because I said, so I went on the run for a year. And then I was working in London and everything as well. So was I still driving? I was probably still driving, to be fair. Still driving around. But then the court is that when I went home to Barnsley, when I was in Barnsley, went home I got home on a Friday, and so I opened the door and there was a cop standing there. I forgot all about it, really, because obviously it had been that long I've been on the run for. Because we're ringing us all the time, but we're being dead cheeky down the phone to us and all that. And I thought, they were just being cheeky on the phone to us. So I just thought, fuck you, then. You want to be like that? And come and find us. But it's never out violent or out like that. I mean, I've never ever took chase in a car. I've always pulled over. Like, I've got respect for coppers, to be fair, because obviously I was in the army. I know what to go through. Similar sort of careers. And then, so I've never really even took chase now, but then I got caught not long ago, 2 years ago, sorry. Sentenced back to jail. And that's me. And I had a couple of rough and tumbles in there as well. Just for fucking idiots, man, because they're all on drugs, and they're not my type of lads, and it's not my scene. I mean, my first 2 jails was rough. I had rough jails, but then my last one was all right. I was getting money sent in proper and all that and stuff like that. So I didn't. The last one was a bit thingy, but I was in when COVID and all that started on the second time. Fucking horrendous, man. So
Yeah. So a couple of things there to sort of jump in on a little bit more is you were on the run and all this sort of thing. So was it like when you were dealing with that? I mean, how did you deal with it, sort of looking over your shoulder and this sort of thing of like, oh, what if they find where I'm at and this type of thing? Or did it just not bother you because you were saying, you forgot about it and you just sort of put it out of your mind there type of thing, which I think is pretty wild, to be fair.
it bothered us. It bothered us because I'm not that type of kid. I am actually respectful and well spoken, but I've been brought up right. I've got manners, so it did bother us. To be honest, it did bother us. What I've done it for is I didn't want to be getting took away from my kids, all the life I had at that time. And I know the first time I started suffering with my PTSD and that bad in there, and that's what I was scared of again. Not that I was scared of going to prison. I've never been scared of anything. How can you be scared of anything when you've been to fucking Afghanistan? You just can't. So prison wasn't going to bother us. It was just them other facts. My kids, just things like that. I thought, no, I can't. I'm not ready yet for that. At least I had a year to psych myself up. So yeah, but it's not really 100% not a proud moment. I'm embarrassed for it. I mean, I don't tell people. I'm just saying it on you because I'm telling you my life. And like last time, I told you the truth about everything. But like I say, everything I do has made me the person I am today, I believe.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely it has. And yeah, obviously, I like to give the opportunity with these interviews to talk about, the things people have done well in their lives and not. But like, if there's youngsters out there who are getting in trouble and they're looking at heading down that road of going to jail and that sort of thing, what would you say to those people who are sort of caught up in all that drama and caught up in those type of situations where it's heading down that track,
When you get your universal credit, this is a message to them. When you get universal credit, go to the shop, get some wraps and some boxing gloves, come to Romarsh in Rotherham and come to Olympus Gym. We'll sort from there. That's the message to them.
Yeah. Yeah, put it in a positive direction instead of going off the rails and all this. And how much can you say? Because you mentioned earlier about having a couple of scraps and that inside the jail itself. How much can you say about that? Is it something you can go into, or is it something you got to leave alone type of thing?
Yeah, it was just with bullies. Bullies, I think that bullies and wannabe gangsters, I think they can run the wing and all that. As they say, we run the wing, and fucking we've got it boxed off and all that. Shut up, you fucking no one has. Screws have got it boxed off all day long. So when people come on and say that they've done this, they do that, they've got it boxed off. You wouldn't be in prison if you had it boxed off. You'd be fucking out. So it was just bullies. So it was young kids in there, young lads in there, 18-year-old and all that. And obviously with us being in the army and all that, bullying has always been a no-no. I used to always keep myself to myself, and when we're allowed out on the weekends for hours on end and pretty much all weekend, I just stuck my chair out my door, and I just sit in my chair and in front of the pool tables. There used to be young lads, a young kid. He'd ran and got this pool cue so he could get on there because he was never going to get on there. But if he got the queue first, he knows he was on there. So he went there, and then I just watched some fucking big daft idiot just come over and just like tell him to piss off, try and take the queue off him. And I just sat there and I was like, I says, give him the fucking queue back. Because I was a Geordie. I've been in Yorkshire jails. I was probably the only Geordies in there at some point. And I said, give him the fucking queue back. And he's like, who the fuck are you? Like, I said, give him the fucking queue back. I says, he's just been rushing out there. He's an 18-year-old kid, feeble as out, fucking long hair and that. He was in for actually death threats to his mum. Probably told his mum he was going to kill her because he should not made his fucking arm sandwich or something for his pack lunch or something. But so like he was looking at this kid starting to walk towards us. I says, fucking come. I says, I'll wrap around your fucking head. And then so I just grabbed the queue with my hand and just pulled him towards us. And then he just let go and walked off. But he was fucking much bigger than me. And I'd seen him, I'd watched it because I'd watched everyone. I wanted to know who was to be, if something was going to come at us, I wanted to know how it was going to come. And what else did I fucking have to do in there apart from watch other people? So yeah, I knew he was a bit of a well, thought he was a bit of a hard lad. Then I'd seen him walking over to all of his mates and all that, and I thought, fucking hell. So I thought something's coming, yeah. So I just went back and sat in my cell. So the next day, the lads I've seen him speaking to, I think I'd been to the showers. I'd come back, and two of them were in my pad with my pad mate. So I thought I'll just stand back and watch them. And I was on the top bunk. Always put my vape. First time I went in prison, I could smoke, but second time we couldn't do vape. So I'd always put it like on the top bunk. It was on the top bunk where it had a bit of a lip on the thingy. So I put it in between my mattress. And I've seen what he had his hand like this, and he's in there. His hand was like dipped into the corner where it was. I thought I'll just give him a 5 minutes. I'll just watch him. And then he was still talking in there. So I just walked in dead fast. I was like, and I just looked, and he's had his hand on it. I said, what the fuck are you going to do? He's a traveller. I said, what the fuck are you doing, like? He was like, what? I don't know. I said, I was just fucking had my hand down there. I just bang and smashed him. And fucking, it just erupted. And that kid and all that, who had took the queue off, they'd all come running and try to get in and all that. And I just says to me, pardon me, close the fucking door and get out. So he was a big lad. He got them out and then closed the door. And I mean, this traveller kid was just in there fucking knocking shit lumps out of each other. And then I just had him on the floor. I just smashed them all over. And then I just fucking said, get the fuck out now, you fucking scruffy cunt. And But then the screws call come over. But the screws all got on with me. They knew I wasn't an idiot. Knew I wasn't a druggie or doing anything wrong in there, unless someone was doing wrong to me. They knew I was in the army and knew me past. So they just turned a blind eye. And then they forgot to close me flap when we all got locked up, because everyone got locked up then because they knew something was going off. And then they forgot to close my flap, and then I'd seen they were shouting names out to go to the other wings, and he was one of them. So I was pretty glad, because I thought, fucking hell. In fact, it was like their little clan, like their little fucking crew. There was a few of them. They got shipped after another wing. So that was probably the major one in there. But another one was the last time I was in 2 years ago. Oh, that's something absolute crazy. This kid I'd met when I went in there, I'd actually been on the what they call it, the wagon on the way in there with I was talking to him. He was a kid from Manchester. So he kept going on the induction wing and all that. He's dead sound of us, dead. All right, he's a big lad. And then he says, "Oh, I'm going to this wing today." He says, "If you get moved," he says, "I have to go on there." I said, "Oh, well, and then I did. I ended up going on the same wing. I got in the same pad with him, shared pad with him. And then he was just arguing with his missus on the phone all the fucking time, man. And it got to like 5 in the morning, because you'd had phones in Donny, you had phones in your cell. 5:30 in the morning, he's shouting the ball, and I fucking flipped this one morning, and I was fucking at that time. There's no one on the wing, no screws, and now everything's in pitch black and all that, and we just end up scrapping in myself, like I'm going for it in myself, and he's massively flinging us around all over. But I ended up, I got him in the end. Like I pasted them all out in the end, but everyone was shouting. We must have woke everyone up, and everyone was banging and screaming. It was mad. It just caused eruption, and he didn't last long, but he was in there. He was gone within an hour of opening up at 8 o'clock for a shower. They says, "What's happened? What's happened in here?" I says, I just told them, I says, "This fucking idiot." But I'd only been there. I think I'd only been there a week. But I didn't get no shit after that. So, but then I got told he'd left that full prison altogether. He must have been a nuisance. I just thought he was just being a nice kid, but fucking hell, man, you don't need that, man, do you? So yeah, that's it really in there.
Yeah, some good stories there, mate. I mean, some crazy times, but like I say, you've lived a hell of a life, mate. There's definitely a good book. I think it's make a good book one of these days. Well, of your life, I mean, I'm not joking, like because that's how you do it. Right? You get a book out there, gets a good following and that type of thing, and then if it gets enough of a following, then you look at like a movie or a documentary
Yeah.
or something like this. And
I wouldn't mind doing that. I wouldn't mind, because Louis Fuse has just done one for Robbie Brown, hasn't he?
yeah,
Yeah, that's a good one. I wouldn't mind something like that. That would be brilliant. I'd love that. I mean, I've already been in talks with people that will say they were going to do it, and they wanted to do it and all that. But I think Louis Fuse is a man, like, and I get on well with him. He's a lovely bloke.
yeah, absolute sound guy, and Robbie as well. Yeah, big shout out to those guys. So that's the prison side of things. So a couple of other things then, and we'll wrap this up after a couple of other topics. But one of the other things I wanted to talk about was obviously the close protection side of things that you mentioned to me. You've looked after some good names there. You've had some adventures in that side of things. So can you tell us a little bit about that? I don't have a really specific question, but just some of your stories from what you were doing with that side of things as well.
Yeah. So what it was when I left the army, I'd done my resettlement as a personal trainer. But then when I left the army, I thought, you know what, I'm going to get into this close protection where everyone's going on. So I done a course in Birmingham, 2-week course, so a good few grand, So I went on that, done that, and it was hard to get work afterwards. So I started to put myself on the doors and all that. I've done quite a lot of door work. There's quite a lot of bumps on there as well, to be fair. But so I've managed to start doing the festivals. So I started doing the festival work, and then started meeting more people in the game. And then I got onto like companies from London, SQR Group. Fucking shout out to them. They give us loads of work. So one one was there's this Israeli tennis player was coming over to Newcastle, and I didn't even live in Newcastle then. I was in Barnsley, so I just told him I did anyway, so I could get this job. But it was like, it's good money every day. So there's this, I got sent a photo of this tennis player, and obviously I had a good car, so it was good to have that, because you know, and there's like a chauffeur as well. Then if you've got a good car, chauffeur bodyguard is 2 for 1, isn't it? So I picked him up from the airport, took him into Jesmond in Newcastle, and he was staying there for 2 weeks training. So I went back. I was living at my mate's at the time, because obviously my house wasn't there. And I was travelling to Jesmond every day, and he wasn't allowed to leave the airport or anything like that. The hotel in the morning. He wasn't allowed. If he wanted to leave, you'd have to get in touch with me. So I went up there. I had to be suited and booted all the time, and I was walking him up the street up to the training. On the way back, I was just sitting and watching the train all day. It was shite, really. But the Israelis, because at the time, when Manchester bombings and all that, like threats like that and things like that, when it was all happening in London. So all the Israelis wanted anyone that come into the UK, the world getting looked after. So yeah, and I was just walking anywhere he wanted to go. I'd turn up on time, take him for his food, have meal with him and all that. Weren't allowed to have a beer together. I wasn't allowed to drink and out, but I'd have a sly little beer. And we ended up really good mates, to be fair. And I just lost contact. But then I looked after a rabbi in London. He owned his own school and all that. I looked after him for a long time. I had a good job with him, and there was a group of us, so it was all like, it was all undercover and stuff like that. I mean, one of my best jobs was, I was actually in the army at the time when I was doing this, because I'd done the course as well as that, as leaving the army beforehand, because I was on Buckingham Palace. I was Queen's Guard when I'd done this. So I was in the army in the daytime. Then on the night time, in my time, I'd go and look. Me and this German SES bloke, the ex-German SES bloke, I'd meet him in the town centre. Meet him in just say Piccadilly or something. And there was this bar that pulled up, and there was Ferraris and everything driving up, dropping people off and all that. But there was a terror attack was meant to be getting always threatened. They were always getting threatened with a terrorism attack. So undercover every night, me and him wanted to look well, pretend we're homeless some points in it and all that. And we had to just go around this was like a hotel bar thing, posh thing. And just go around having a look and just watching the people walking past, see if they were looking at the place and working it out, sort of thing, trying to set a plan, whatever. And fucking hell, that was brilliant. I was on night shift with this bloke, and he was switched on to bits, that kid. But I loved that as well. My claim to fame is probably Lily Allen. So Lily Allen, I done. She was at a festival. Can't remember which one now. So I looked after her for like the weekend. Part of the team. Dynamo Magician, looked after him at Leeds Festival for the full weekend, a full time Leeds Festival. Anyway, he went. I was there. And I also done. Busted, the guy off Busted, and Sarah Milligan, one of the comedians from Newcastle. They were going around HMV in the UK, and I'd go everywhere with them, and stuff like that. And then it resorted onto like going and looking after big, massive mansions, and with like Asian families in London and all that, in that field in London. And I'd look after the families and take the wives shopping and doing like covert security stuff and just following the wives behind them shopping and whatever, and driving them places. I had a good run through it. And then it's hard to get jobs like that. I mean, it's a single man's life, that. Definitely a single man's life. But I had a good run and all that. Like, I'd love to do it again, to be honest.
Yeah, well, I'm sure that'll open up for you, mate. Especially, when we put this out there and people hear the stories, maybe some more work will open up for you. I got a few mates in that end of things as well, so maybe I can put the word in as well.
Yeah, a
But
few fighters like there's a few fighters like that fight for Bad to the Bone, fight that's for Olympus, Top Dog Security, that like John Dunja and that they've got their own security company. Sam Blakesy set up his. We're getting the events going with him. Putting the security on the events, so it'll come about. It'll come about again.
absolutely, yeah, yeah. So that's the close protection. Amazing stories there, mate. I mean, you've lived, and there's a few things I didn't even know there with like the Queen's cars, and I didn't
Yeah,
know about the doorman side of things even. But I mean, man, you've lived a life, haven't you? For the
I've done,
sake.
done like I've done like the what would people would call like the hard man's life, but I'm the smallest man.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, but the thing is, mate, I mean, you should, like I was saying before about like the books and all that. I'm not joking because this type of thing. I mean, if you look at like all the, these guys with Lenny McLean and Roy Shaw and all those guys and Bartley Gorman and who else you got? Everyone for Alcy, Louis Yates and all those guys. They put books out there. Some of the
I
hooligans,
know.
Baz, One Eyed Baz, and you got like all the hooligan guys, Carlton Leach, obviously, all those guys
Yeah,
like that type of genre of books and movies and all this type of thing. I
yeah.
mean,
I don't put. How do you say it? I don't persuade me to be something that them were. Do you know what I mean? But that was back in the old days.
yeah, I mean maybe that's a different level.
A genuine guy that'll get on with anybody. Don't cause no bother. Uh, but they were a bit rougher than me.
Yeah, okay, so maybe that's a different level. But all I'm getting at is like the type of
Yeah,
story people always want to hear it. Do you know what I mean? That's
yeah,
all I'm saying. But we'll see, we'll see. So the other thing I want to talk about, mate, as well, and I want to talk about this mainly just to help people. That's my reason for bringing it up. Obviously, with like the PTSD and some of the things you've been to, I remember when we spoke last, you mentioned about like trying to take your life or being through some really low
yeah,
points. I'd like to touch on that and how you came back from it. And then for time, that'll probably be like our last topic is, how
yeah.
you come back from the brink. But I think, like I say, mental health is such a big thing now we need to talk about that bit.
It's massive. It's massive now. It's a close thing to my heart, and that's why I always try to help people and try and understand what. Just say, like for example, last week one of the lads, he was having a bit bother back home, having a bit of trouble with his job. Uh, he sold ticket money. He'd give tickets out to people, but he, because he lost his job, he spent some ticket money. I just says, listen, don't worry about it, man. I says, concentrate on the fight the weekend. We'll sort this out afterwards. So, like, I always understand people's situations. I've been there, and I've been to the lowest you can go. Because the lowest you can go is you try to kill yourself. I've been there twice over. Um, so I always understand people's situations, and I try to give them a bit of leeway and all that. But until they start taking the piss, then it's different. But I do understand. I do try and help. Um, I, I'm always trying to. I'm always trying to look for like I've been homeless and that before, so I always try to look for people like put things out there like look if anybody knows if I'm doing something good like one of my shows last week, uh, and I know there's money coming in, then if I can put it out there, look, I'm willing to get someone homeless. That's I don't want them on drugs out like that, but there is homeless people. There is homeless people there that everyone just thinks they're on drugs, but there's most people out there that are homeless and they're not on drugs. So I don't want no crackheads out like that. I don't want to. I'm not interested in them. So people that want to be helped, send them my way, and I'll try and put them in the. If I point them in the right direction, give them a roof over their head, or try that sort of thing. I've always wanted to do it, but no one's ever come back and says, "Look at this guy, yeah." But I'm in a position where I can do it for them. So, and I've been there myself. I mean, I know exactly what they're going through, right? But it's hard. It's hard. It's how I mean, first time I did, man, I was ready to jump off Newcastle Tyne Bridge, man. Um, I was going through my PTSD and all that from obviously me 2 hours in Afghanistan. Uh, getting shit off my son's mum at the time, constant. And yeah, if there was, so I stood on the bridge. I was actually on the piss and I didn't have no taxi I didn't have no money for a taxi home. I'd lost my pals, so I was walking back over to Gateshead where I'm from, and I stood on Tyne Bridge. And if someone never been walking the other way and shouted, "Oh, what are you doing?" So I fucking shit myself. So I jumped down. If that person never asked us what I was doing, or even scared us, I'd have fucking gone. I'd have jumped over that edge. That was about 2015 or something, I would say. And then 5 years ago, just my PTSD went through the roof. That was the worst I ever felt. It was probably because I was struggling to stay in work and all that through it, because I wasn't sleeping out. I was like, my daughter's mum, she would like ring the ambulance. Was going to ring ambulance and that some nights because I was fucking sweating and going mad in my sleep and shit. And like another example, like I was sleeping in the caravan with my brother working in London, and I thought I had my fucking throat slit, and I was getting dragged away. Fucking Taliban and all that, and I was like in my sleep, fucking trying to scream, trying to talk. I remember doing it, waking up, still making the noise. My brother's like, "Fucking what the fuck's that?" But yeah, and I fucking took a shitload of tablets. I booked myself a hotel for the night, high load of tablets in us. I was low as fuck then, man. When I think about it now, but high load of tablets in me gob. Started getting pains in my belly. It ran out of the hotel and ran across the road. It was a B&B, so there was no one around in the hotel. That was it. B&B, no one was going around in the hotel. So I ran across the road. There was a taxi rank. And I just says to the bloke in the thing, "You're gonna have to ring an ambulance." It got me fucking got to hospital and shit like that. I wasn't speaking to none of my family at the time, and then my mum turned up at the hospital, and just I was fucking in another world, and I scared myself. I really, really scared myself, and after that, my dad, I wasn't speaking to him still at this point, so he'd rang all my mates out the army, all my best mates, because my family had met them all when I was in the army. I mean, 10 years, I'm not going to not bring any of them home out like that, or on the piss in Newcastle, whatever. So my dad rang them all, and some of them rang us saying, "Are you all right?" Some of them rang us saying, "Listen, I'm in the same boat." And ever since then, I was just helping people. And I've just helped people ever since. I was putting things on Facebook, like scenarios, and I think it was an awareness for men's mental health or something. 22 press ups for 22 days, but before I do the press ups, I'd give a scenario of something I'd been in for depression or something I'd been in anxiety wise or whatever, and my inbox was crazy. Even my dad's friends were messaging us from my hometown, my dad's mates and things like that, saying, and it was fantastic, man. I've helped so much. I don't know if I've helped so many people, but I've given advice to so many people and pointed them in the right direction. Whether that's helped them or not, it must have, because most of them never got back in touch. Some of them just messages now and then and ask how I am. I mean, I go quiet on Facebook for one day. If everyone thinks I'm dead, fucking hell. But that's how I face, like, social media is my mate, and it's got us to where I've got to now and how well known I am and the following I've got. So I kind stop now. Otherwise, people think, he's disappeared off the face of the earth. But it's helped me. It's helped me, especially in the last 2 years, because I've been by myself. I mean, I met a woman now, and she's boosted us up again, Chloe, and she's absolutely fantastic. She's been a rock. I actually started messaging her when I was in Ukraine. Got back and met her. I know she's from Rotherham. So yeah, man. Facebook is me, and social media it's got us through things, but I would never go there again. what I've started doing is since I've started helping the people and whatever, I don't think about my problems no more. I'm always just trying to help people now, like, and it really, really, I always tell them like, I'm straight up with people, mate. I say, mug us off, and you'll know about it. Mug us off, you'll know about it. If I try and help you now, don't be mugging us off, because this is, you know what I mean? Like, you can't just go to anyone and ask for help. People always seem to come towards me, which I don't mind, but just don't like getting mugged off, because I don't mug anyone else off myself, really. So yeah, that's what's got us through it, and fighting, and having something to aim for, like a date. So the next show you're gonna box on, you've got something to aim for, and it does keep you going, man. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's amazing you've come through it, mate. And I got all the respect in the world for you coming through it. And I got all the respect in the world for you speaking out about it, because it helps other people and it gives some of your advice to them, not to give up and not to give in and everything like that, mate. So, I mean, I'm honored that you feel comfortable to sort of share this with
Yeah.
myself, obviously with the viewers and everything. So, we've talked about some good stuff today, mate. I mean, we've talked about some other sides of your life and some different things, and got some more stories. 'Cause I know last time it was very, very focused on the army, but this time we've got some different things. So I'm well happy, mate. And obviously, it's got the inspiration, because I don't know if you realize it, but you are quite an inspirational person in the sense that you show people what one man can do, another can do. If you can get through it, other people you can get through it as well. So hopefully, we've mentioned everything that you want to mention. Have we missed anything, or are you happy with?
Oh, I mean, fucking hell. We could talk. Oh, we could talk for a full year. We could talk, couldn't we? But no, just like this is just, and that's the other side of me. The other side of me compared to what people are just listening to me stories in Afghanistan and that last time. They enjoy, because sometimes when I'm out, they'll be like, yeah, they'll mention something, and I'll turn around and I'll think, you fucking watched that podcast, haven't you? So they must have, you know what I mean? So I know people watches it.
Yeah, yeah. People loved it. People loved the first one, which is really nice, and I'm sure they'll love this one as well. So,
Yeah,
well, thank you for your time, mate, and thank you for being
yeah,
open and sharing about your life and everything. Not just to me, but to all the viewers as well. I appreciate it, and it's been really nice to have a catch up with you, mate. You're top man,
yeah.
absolutely. Thank you as well.
Like I said last time. I mean, I said last time at the end. Anyone get any dramas in their life, mental health wise, and all that? They'll have us on Facebook, man. Give us a message. I don't mind having a chat with you and that, man. My door's always open. I'm not the, I'm not, I'm not the busiest man in the world, but I'll always get back to you if needs be.
Absolutely, top man, heart of gold. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe to the Simply Inspired YouTube channel, and there'll be more videos coming soon.